Right then, welcome to my spoiler review of Annihilation. This is the film by Alex Garland and was quite long awaited, to be perfectly honest. The reason I'm doing a spoiler-filled review is because it's been out in the States for some time. It's just become available to the rest of the world via Netflix, hence spoiler-filled review. First and foremost, I'll say straight off the bat, I actually didn't really like this film. And it's not because of the elements that make an Alex Garland film an Alex Garland film. Why I didn't like this film is quite a mystery to me, to be perfectly honest. It's whether it's a combination of the source material just not crossing over to the big screen or how it was constructed into a script. I can't really put my finger on it, but I was left feeling extremely underwhelmed, extremely dissatisfied, and at the end of the day, I did not care at all about these characters. However, it's not all doom and gloom and it's not all negative. Alex Garland is a phenomenal director. He handles high concept sci-fi with a finesse that hasn't really been seen for a really, really long time. And Alex Garland, and what he does great, is in this film. The cinematography is superb. About 80% of the effects are solid. The way the scenes linger and how they're set up is fantastic. There are some really, really beautiful elements to this film. And yet, as I said, I left extremely dissatisfied with it. We'll get kind of straight into it on what it's about. It's essentially an alien entity, the Shimmer, comes down, crashes into Earth, and it starts mutating and changing things and essentially expanding outwards, eventually to envelop the entire world. It doesn't, because the US military has sent in numerous task teams, task forces, whatever you want to call them, to go and investigate. And one of them just so happens to be Natalie Portman's husband, Kane, played by Oscar Isaac, which is great. Oscar Isaac is fantastic in any film, and he is equally as good in this for the small amount that you see him. So because of that, and how things transpire, Natalie Portman is recruited into this team. Now, this is kind of where things start to fall flat, and really, there is no character motivation. There's no character development. I don't know why they're doing this, and I don't really care about them as they're doing it. There are some really good initial setup points where you see Natalie Portman interacting with students, with a colleague, and her potential husband. And these elements are really good, and you see her interacting with other people, and that character development was good. However, the reasons for why she decides to go on a suicide mission are kind of there, but when we start to marry it up with the others that are on this mission, and it is a suicide mission, utterly pointless. There is no character motivation. They do explain a character motivation in the film, but it also belittles the characters that you're watching and that you supposedly are supposed to care for. Their character motivations are that they have lost loved ones, that they cut themselves to pieces, and that one has cancer. Why? Just why? This is a film which was touted on social media as being at the forefront of this kind of feminist wave that we're getting. And unfortunately, you can't really do that when all of your characters are weak, and the only reason they're doing this suicide mission is because they have experienced a massive tragedy, and thus, they have nothing to live for. What? Why? Why do I care about them now? They don't even care about themselves. So in that way, it really started to fall short for me, and when they started to reveal these elements, I just did not care. And whether this was as part of the character development or not, whatever it was a really poor choice. If it was character development, they should have just left it out completely. The reasons for them all banding together and coming to do this thing is just beyond me. It doesn't really resonate with anything that I could relate to, and anything which I could kind of grasp a hold of and go, yeah, I'm all for this mission. I understand why they're doing it now, and yeah, great. Not only that, why is the US government sending a medic, a scientist, another scientist, and a team leader, and then Natalie Portman tagging along? Why are they sending these people in to essentially save the entire planet? That's beyond me as well. It's so convoluted and just nonsense that it doesn't really make any sense. I understand that, you would want to send people in with a particular psychological profile and all of this. I understand that. But you're not going to send these people in to save the planet. You're not. And it just does not make sense. The US government wouldn't do that. Not how they handle things. So there was no reality to it, which again just kind of fell fell flat in my eyes. However, again, if we're talking about the scenery when they go into the shimmer, it is fantastic, it's great. And I understand why some people may have some issues with the effects that are there. Some of them are a bit muted, a bit overdrawn, a bit blown out. And Alex Garland seems to have taken some hints from J.J. Abrams on his recent use of lens flares. There's way too many lens flares in this film. Way too many. But when they go inside the shimmer, the scenery is fantastic. The effects are superb. In my eyes, I really liked them. I understand the complaints that some people would have, but all in all, I enjoyed it, and the tension building was great. They are facing some very mutant-like creatures, and there is a very real threat there. However, their actions when they confront these people, again, just make you ask that question, why in the hell were these people sent into the shimmer? Why? You got Natalie Portman, who is supposedly a biologist and also an ex-service woman, right? And yet, at the first sign of trouble, she doesn't have a gun in her hand and she runs towards someone that has evidently been pulled by a monster. And she runs towards them with absolutely no weapon in her hand at all. Why? The only person that has ballistic training and defensive training and any training of any sort doesn't do what they would have been told in the most basic of forms. So again, that in and unto itself just makes you go, why? Why is this happening? But as I say, it's not all doom and gloom. There are some great elements to it. The concept behind it is solid. The alien entity is interesting. It's captivating. And if they answered some questions behind it, which you inevitably will have when you watch this film, it could have been so much more. But unfortunately, it fails. And it doesn't fail due to anything that I personally think Alex Garland has done. Because again, if we look back at Alex Garland's work, he is regarded for a reason. And I think where Annihilation falls short is in the transference of source material and how it's supposed to be put on film. I just think this is one sci-fi story that potentially shouldn't have been tackled. Or, if it was, Netflix should have bought it as a mini-series and made numerous episodes in this and really drawn it out and given me something to care about with these characters. Because at the end of the day, I'm looking at IMDb now, and I only know these people's names because I'm looking at IMDb. I knew Natalie Portman, the lead character, was Lena, and I knew another person was called Ventress. Why? Because Ventress is a character in Star Wars. And it clicked in my head, and that's why I remember that person's name. That's the only reason. I don't know anyone else's name, except for Kane, and that was it. This is why this film is just not very good. You don't care about anyone. You're not invested in what these people are doing. The women are supposed to be, and like I said, they were touted on social media as being some kind of feminist agenda here. You know, we're supposed to support this film because it's a fully female-led cast. No, support good movies. This is not a good movie, unfortunately. And I really wanted to like this film. I went into it with completely open eyes, and I left it with my arms folded, angry that I just wasted 2 hours of my life. It's such a shame. It could have been so much more. And like I say, it's not Alex Garland's fault. Everything that makes a good Alex Garland film a good film is there. Everything is there. The slow panning shots, the lingering facial shots where you're seeing subtle interaction and emotion between characters, it's there and it's fantastic. But again, the way this source material is been put into this script is just garbage. It just does not work. I understand now why Netflix have got the rights to this film. I fully understand that. Because Paramount would have wanted to get this out there quickly. They wanted to make some kind of return on this. And they wouldn't have made that in the cinema, in the theatres. Because this would have come out in the theatres. And unfortunately, much to my regret in saying this, it probably would have opened up the opening weekend and people would have slammed it. They would have trashed it. The word of mouth would have made this a complete box office failure. And it's a real shame because I like these kind of films. I wanted to like this, but as I said, ultimately I was disappointed. Netflix, you need to stop buying the rights to bad films. I love the method and the kind of concept moving forwards that you're going to take these great properties which should be in theatres and put them on your streaming service. I love that. But please invest your money in something that is actually good. because no one is going to take the movies that you buy moving forward seriously. So, guys, this was my very brutally honest review. I know a lot of people like this film, so I know the comments that are going to come through are going to be interesting. I want to know what you think. I want to know whether you enjoyed this film, whether you shared any of my gripes, whether you think I'm absolutely just talking out my arse. I want to know your thoughts, so please do leave them down below in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. You can always expect honest reviews from me. And as always, guys, I've been Mr. H. Until next time, I will catch you in the comment section.